Well, without further ado, we are ready for a run. We're going to do Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, Julius All Bosses with Romscout. Romscout, take it away.
Thank you for dealing with all those technical difficulties. Apparently, PlayStation Portables are very archaic and aren't meant to be played, so we'll do the better version of Symphony of the Night later. So, but yeah, this is Dawn of Sorrow, Julius All Bosses, which is also a really fun speedrun category of the game, and yeah, I'm good whenever anyone else is to start the timer. But
Hello, hello.
hello. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
So this is Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow. I'm TurboDog doing commentary along with Mecha off to the side. He may not be on camera right now, but this is Julius mode. A little bit different from your typical Soma mode inside of this game, right, Rom?
Yeah, actually, you just watched Castlevania 3. This mode actually tries to mimic it in some ways because you start with Belmont, Julius, and then you collect other characters to play as alongside him in the mode. So it's pretty cool. It's a throwback to CV3, and you have a lot of different movement options, different battle mechanics. This is probably one of the best speedrun categories of this game, and definitely my favorite to do.
So try to enjoy Julius if we have any Belmont fans out there, because you're not going to get to see a ton of him despite this being Julius mode.
Yeah, so immediately, this is kind of a big detour. We just took about like a minute there, but we got Yoko, who is a throwback to Sypha, and she's able to cast magical spells, but she also has this really fast backdash, which just by the time we get to the next boss in the run that we want to get to, like, Julius would not have made it there on his own because she's just that much faster. We're also going to go collect another friend later. I won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen this game before, but you'll know him probably. Yeah, so you can see I'm kind of going and canceling attacks with the backdash as well, and canceling the backdash with a hop. Normally she has like a really slow roll. I'll show it off there once just to see how much slower it is than this. But yeah, so I'm canceling backdash with jumping, and then I'm canceling every single attack I do with a backdash and a duck. So it lets me just do half the animations I'm supposed to be doing on all of these attacks. Yeah, I'm going to be grabbing a warp right here really quick because we're fighting all the bosses, so we're going to be going like all over the castle.
All the bosses?
All of them. Well, actually, I think I guess they removed one from this mode.
It's okay. It's all right.
It's no longer all bosses then.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
man.
Richter All Bosses and Soten also doesn't fight a few because they got really lazy and just any boss with a cutscene, they're like, nah, we're good.
They got tired of waiting, I think.
So you'll notice that Rom is using one of Yoko's, basically her most powerful spell. It's Blue Splash. It covers so much room and controls so much space, and it creates kind of a really nice shield, does a lot of damage, allows her to really do what she wants to do with her backdash jumping, gets her around the map quite a bit. You're going to be seeing Yoko traversing most of the castle, and for different bosses, you might see different characters.
Yeah. So now this is really where the backdash canceling of attacks comes in that I was talking about earlier. You'll see I pretty much never stop swinging the club when I'm in range of him, and then otherwise I'm canceling the ice spell in order to move back closer to him for the next hit. So there is some MP management here, though. You do recover MP and HP with every single hit you land with the club, so that helps a little bit. If you can get more club attacks, you get more ice spells later. But yeah, this boss fight has a decent amount of RNG. It's actually really good so far because he hasn't teleported yet, which is his... I rarely get a zero teleport fight from him, so that was a pretty good time, actually. But yeah, our last friend that we're collecting in the run is actually coming up. I'm going to leave his face on the screen for a second because if you thought you knew what Alucard looked like from Symphony of the Night, he is much better in this version. He is a much prettier man. So, Yeah, so that's actually the last character you can play in this. They do not have a throwback to Grant. I guess they didn't want to deal with designing anything around climbing walls, so...
I think they just didn't want to type Dynasty again.
Or that.
But,
So yeah, Alucard has a couple abilities. He only has his Alucard sword and shooting Hellfire spell, which you can also backdash cancel, and then turning into a bat, which is pretty much just used for getting into really small spots that no one else can fit in.
He also has a special ability we're going to be seeing here that Rom's going to be doing.
Well, I mean, it's just using his Alucard sword, nothing special.
Spell switch.
Yeah, I know. So you can attack with the Alucard sword, and if you do it in the air and then cancel it when you land, ooh, that sucks. But yeah, you can cancel it when you land, so you can actually... I forgot to spell switch. All right, we're fighting this boss again. Nice. That's why I saved, though. Because I
literally warned.
Here, I'll clap for that. Puppet Master deserves a round of applause. All right, so yeah, when you slash in the air, you can cancel it when you hit the ground again, and if you do that fast enough, you just get a continuous attack. I'm not even gonna turn into Bat to go through this door this time.
This is kind of a recurrent theme in many of the portable Vanias in general, right? This idea that you can jump very, very short.
Yeah, there we go.
And,
see, when I'm looking at the screen, apparently I can do it.
Yeah, this very short hop is native to a lot of the portable Castlevanias, as opposed to Soten, where you have a very, very floaty jump.
Yeah, you have a 5 pixel minimum in Soten, and then in this game you have a 1 pixel minimum for jump, so it's a lot tighter on all the controls. All right, there we go. So that's how it's supposed to look normally. That was the warm-up run. We get to restart now, right? So yeah, pretty much from this point forward, most bosses are going to be handled by Alucard, and then most movement is going to be handled by Yoko. Julius is there, though. He's a good cheerleader. You might get a couple pom-poms later.
He has one more function at least.
Yeah. We actually can't complete the game without him, so on this route at least.
Yeah, you'll notice Alucard is going to be used for quite a few of the bosses that we're going to fight. There's going to be some exceptions where Yoko's going to poke in here and there, but Alucard's going to mostly be here for bosses and some special movement. The main reason why you'd pick him up inside of this run normally is he's the character that enables flight. Like, he has Bat, he has gravity boots. Once again, just showing the power of Blue Splash there, just controlling so much space on the screen. It is important to note that Rom is actually being actively careful about what he's killing in these particular rooms, because he is going to be setting up for a pair of glitches later on that are going to require level ups. But we'll get to see those in a little bit.
Yeah. Most things in this game, though, do take a while to kill, especially big enemies, so... generally, in speedrunning this game in any mode, it's faster just to damage boost through things than kill them. Alright. So if you remember from Aria of Sorrow, Balor was in the arena, and he's back, but looks a lot different. Learned how to shoot beams. You get some invincibility when switching characters, so I just abused that to dodge the first attack.
So with this one, he needs to jump a tiny bit higher in order to be able to hit the damage box on the boss. But he still gets tons of extra attacks.
Alright, if you're a Belmont fan, he's here to save us. He's the only one who can break these ice blocks, so we would not be able to complete the run without him. Alright, bye, Julius. We probably won't be seeing him again.
Truly an enemy worthy of the vampire killer.
Oh, that was a nice shot. I'll give him props on that one. Puppet Master still made the best play today, though. All right, so oh, another thing to note, you'll notice it when we go into the chapel here, but there are a couple of CV3 musical themes that were thrown into this mode exclusively. The entrance and the chapel both have different songs than Soma mode.
So because we have access to so many movement tools also, your method for kind of going all over the castle is much more open than a typical Soma run. So because of this, routing is pretty paramount because so much of the castle is open up to you at any given time. And Rom and the community have kind of constructed a route that's pretty powerful at this point and allows him to use the experience manipulation that I mentioned before.
Yeah, so this part in particular, there's a lot of things you can kill, but I have to be really careful about not killing more than I intend to, because enemies here give a lot of experience for this early in the game. Oops.
And for the most part, even though he's taking these damage boosts, like, he has a lot of health to play with in this particular mode.
I'm still, just because I've already died, I'm going to go ahead and heal up here, but typically wouldn't need to with that much health.
You'll also note that there is a level on romscout's screen. He's currently level 13. However, he has absolutely no way of viewing his experience to level. So that's why the route is so important, is he can't verify it at any point. He just has to know that he's in range for it. Nice manipulation here on Dimitri. Dimitri absorbs whatever spell or soul you use upon him. So
Ooh, nice shot.
Rom's manipulating him to take the Hellfire spell and then doing combat based on that. Rom actually tipped me off that he can actually learn Grand Cross from Julius, but since he doesn't have like a special animation for it, he just walks around with it active.
Yeah, he can do any spell, sub-weapon, or like soul in the game that has an attack.
It's especially cute in Randomizer, because you see like spells that Dimitri was definitely not planning to cast against you. I think my favorite is I think I remember somebody in a Dawn randomizer giving him Abaddon and immediately regretting it.
Yep. Yeah, I think the funniest thing about randomizer is that sometimes the hitboxes are glitched too, or like the animations of things are glitched. So he had an attack that, like, one of the tail attacks that Soma has took up like 3/4 of the screen, and so you had two tails taking up like the entire screen going against each other. That was the funnier one I ran into. Alright, grabbing another warp for later. When you're playing with Soma and you're not using glitches, the castle actually does feel like a lot more linear than other Castlevanias, and you're kind of trapped into like certain routes. A lot of the power-ups in this game actually feel a little lazy. They're kind of like, oh, do you have the power-up for this specific room and that's it? And you don't use it like anywhere else. So in this mode though, you do get a lot more free form with how you do it. So it's a little more fun because of that.
So if you were to kind of compare and contrast a little bit between any percent of this category and all bosses, what are some things that you would mention?
So I would have already beaten the game, or actually no, that's not true. In terms of level, I would have already beaten the game for the most part, because you get to the last area of the game at level 10, and so you're only doing like 3 or 4 boss fights, and every single one is with really low health, and you do no damage. So it's just entirely boss fights that you're focused on. And this one, it's a lot more focused on general movement and you know, the experience manipulation, because in 80% it's not that hard to keep on track for one specific level up. This one I actually need to do it for a couple times. So with how many enemies I kill, that's pretty difficult. So yeah, it's there's just a lot more variety in this run, so that's why I like it more. And 80%'s just really long boss fights with Alucard, and you kind of have to pray you get good RNG to win.
Yeah, we're not just talking about long boss fights like a 30-second long boss either. Some of these bosses take minutes in order to complete, and very, very dangerous. Even when he's going to fight them later on, they're still going to be problematic.
Yeah.
You still need to be cognizant
They'll
of how
still
much
take
damage they
like
deal.
a couple minutes, right? Like they won't take 5 minutes, but they'll take a couple, and it'll be noticeable how long they are. Yeah, I mean, they definitely, if you weren't doing attack canceling at all, like these fights would take probably even double that, probably like 10-minute fights, even being at a high level.
For reference, I believe I completed my casual run of this at level 56, and the final boss of the castle itself was very difficult.
Alright, so this is coming up with some boomerang skeletons here is where I get my first verification of whether I'm doing the experience route correctly. If I get a level up on one of these. Alright, cool.
Yeah, in good shape so far.
And you do notice that Alucard is a lot slower moving in terms of backdash, but it's actually not as big a discrepancy as you'd think. Since he was needed to get in here quicker with the Alucard sword special, the character switch animation would actually take longer than the time you lose just doing these backdashes instead.
So we're going to be running into one of the CV alumni coming up here. I guess he is a bit of a change in it with Bat Company.
Yeah. A little bit of a different spin on your classic Bat boss. There is some RNG with when he transforms after the first two dives there. So he's actually giving me really good RNG here. He can do a hand grab next or Moai head, which tends to be the worst unless you're kind of right in his face and ready for it. I was guessing it would be Moai head. If I had guessed that he did hand next, he actually probably would have grabbed me and done a ton of damage. Oh, that was cool. Okay. You can do the same glitch there to save a little bit of time that we're going to be doing coming up, but it's not that big a deal to not get an opportunity for it there. It only saves like 10 seconds, whereas the next couple we're doing are going to save minimum 45 seconds. So quite a bit different. And I'm not killing anything here because the experience route's so tight at this point, even these matter. I'm going to save just in case we mess it up somehow, but
Be careful of the slime.
that's later.
Real quick, just want to let everybody know that we have updated our goal for Calathon. So we did hit our original goal of $20,000 raised, which is fantastic. So we had a new goal. Let's see if we can hit $25,000 raised in total before the end of these marathons. So appreciate any donations you can make towards hitting that goal.
Ooh, I missed one. Hello, friend. Still going to be a lot of time saved making sure we have this experience route correct.
So we kind of glanced over this, but you're intended to go all the way around the castle to activate those switches. But when you have a move that kind of teleports forward, like the Alucard sword special, you can hit those switches beforehand. Soma can do a similar thing using certain knife specials.
Just to be completely safe, I'm going to kill this guy twice, but he's probably going to be a zip on the second one. Alright, so when you do a level up during a special off screen, like through a screen transition, that is what causes what just happened there. Since the room is a little interesting because Gurgoth's entire boss room is actually the entirety of the tower, it zipped me to a spot near the top of that, and I just appeared right next to his boss room. So I was able to go grab the teleporter for later, grab the key for the next area, and then come fight him. It saves a ton of time. So yeah, you'll see that one more time in this run.
So a lot of you may not know this, but Gurgoth is actually a very competent dancer.
It's also the cutest boss in the game.
Yep. So we do call the next strat here, or at least I call it the Blizzard Buffalo strat, because if you've ever watched a Mega Man X3 run, you'll be very familiar with what's about to happen here. So because you high jump here, he assumes that you have to be trying to jump over him because there's no other reason you'd high jump, right? So yeah, we do not have to actually deal with his AI at all in the second phase because of that. I didn't get some slashes on the way down, so that did take a little bit longer than usual. But yeah, that's fine.
How to play peekaboo with your puppy.
So yeah, oh, another thing is that, actually, I'm going to show this off because it's really funny. So you see Alucard has a super high jump. This is Julius's. Like, that's as high as he goes. That's his best shot at what we just tried to do with Alucard.
Listen, he just hasn't been working out so far yet, okay?
Yeah, actually, so in Arya, he's, like, super OP. Like, he can just destroy everything, jump really high, and then 1 year later, which is when this game takes place, he just lost the ability to do everything somehow. Alright, I'll go down here and heal, because why not? Still faster than waiting for the boss orb where Gurgoth was.
Funny fact, this is the weakest version of Julius you will ever find. CVHD, the game that we ran last year, he is very, very good in that game as well.
We did just get a $100 donation from Loop with no message. Thank you.
Oh, hey. Thank you.
And we also have a $10 donation from a Geister Carl. It says, thanks to all the Castlevania runners for killing all those Draculas. The world is a safer place with your work.
I mean, it's pretty easy. We can only hope that there's no Jetpack Dracula. Or 2 Jetpack Draculas.
Why stop at 2?
So,
If you're a JoJo fan, you'll like this boss.
is this a JoJo reference? So this is actually a pretty sweet strat that Rom uses on this boss. So normally this boss has a type of counterattack form in which he freezes time around you and then runs up and slashes you. But since Alucard can use his special and teleport around with complete invincibility, it tricks the boss into attacking the wrong way. So makes this quite a bit safer. Although Rom probably should stop getting slapped. There we
Yeah,
go.
well,
Just a little bit. Just a little.
it's recommended, but
Oh, also of note, we don't need to draw seals in this one. That's kind of a huge draw to this category as well. If you have troubles using the DS screen to draw the seals that you need to kill bosses, this is the category for you.
yeah, that's usually people's biggest problem with the game. I mean, in so many percent, as long as you can draw a V, then you're okay. But yeah, in all the Julius categories, you do not need to use the touchscreen at all. So it's a nice
But what
bonus.
if someone wants to do 100% souls? Some madman.
Yeah, I don't know who that would be. Yeah, so all of the succubi here are disguised as Yoko, who I guess are trying to seduce Yoko with herself. It's kind of weird.
She's a very vain person.
Wouldn't you be seduced by yourself?
Me, personally?
Yes.
No, but that Alucard, maybe. Alright, so this looks like a pretty big detour, but it's entirely for that experience route I was talking about with doing a zip coming up here. This section takes quite a while, and even doing that really long detour still makes this save about 45 seconds. Okay, so that's fine. I was basically just doing it safer because the experience route can have some variance if like the ice spell kills an extra enemy or whatever. So yeah, taking two attempts at that is fine. You need the level up to happen for it to activate. Ooh, nice swipe.
For those of you not particularly familiar with the story, this is the demon that gives Dario his power. Fire.
Ooh, I didn't realize I ran out of MP. So this is relevant with every boss that Yoko fights with Ice Spell, but I'm going to be trying to have every single ice spell hit him twice. This can be done either by angling it correctly or also by having it right under him at the bottom of his hitbox, and then the iframes actually are so short that I'm able to do it again when it goes to the top of his hitbox. Ooh. Alright, well, we're making this exciting.
Yeah, it's whenever you try to push bosses for extra damage, you always do put yourself at risk, and some of these bosses have very, very large collision boxes. Alright, nicely. A lot of double hits on that fight too, which is crucial for speeding up some of the larger sized bosses, I should say.
All right, we have a $5 donation from Alucard X60.
Oh, cool.
Says,
Hey, dude.
roses are red, violets are blue. Attention, Speedman. How do you do? Donation goes to Runner's Choice.
The boy Alucard X60 going to be running Yonoid 2 at this coming SGDQ. He failed to avoid the Noid. So what were some of the considerations for what character you decided to pick for some of these rooms, Rom, when you were kind of learning the game?
How much vertical movement there is versus horizontal. Like, obviously, if it's an entirely horizontal section, then Yoko is going to be the choice. If you do have to either kill a lot of things or do vertical movement, Alucard tends to be better. And then, you know, Julius, is there an ice block in the room that you need to break? That's pretty much his consideration.
Do you have any other characters?
I'm going to say before this next boss, he's kind of hard. Like, he can give you some pretty bad patterns where he just, like, camps on top of you and makes your health go away really fast. Because I'm going to be trying to hit him with the ice spell a lot and be right underneath him, but he moves like so erratically all over the screen that it's just really hard to dodge while you're doing that. So yeah, I mean, the main things were just the super jumps with Alucard there, and then also right here for why I chose him over Yoko for this entire section. Like, again, any character switch actually takes a while, especially when you have to rotate through Julius to do it. And I was going to use Alucard for the boss here anyway, the first phase at least.
So this is Paranoia. This is normally how you would gain access to a Goody in the normal game.
Ooh. Well, at least it didn't go in the mirror. Could have been worse.
It's a nice jello right there on the mirror. So this is somewhat of a dangerous fight because Paranoia does quite a bit of damage per hit, and he has a particular move that
He's
is
probably
quite
going to go in the
difficult
mirror
to
here.
dodge.
Yeah.
So some of the patterns that this mirror attack can give you are very, very difficult to dodge, and as you can see, it does a large amount of damage.
All right,
each
so
time.
next time that happens, I'm going to have to switch to Alucard for safety. But I could actually, since he was nice enough to not go immediately into it, I can actually kill him here.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah.
A lot of good double hits there. That was actually a really good fight. Yeah, sometimes the boss can be very finicky about when he'll allow you to get those double hits with the blue splash spell.
And just to be clear, that pattern only looked impossible to dodge with the lasers because I chose not to go into bat form with Alucard. That's how you're intended to dodge it. So if you're playing casually, that boss is not impossible. Don't worry. Ooh, nice hit.
Good old Killer Clown. Nice little casual soul comes off of him. If you ever pick up this game.
Yeah, if you learn to backdash cancel with Killer Clown, you will be killing some things. I guess I don't need to say his name. It was just pretty much just for that one wall. Hello? Okay. You can also use the touch. If your touchscreen works, you can also use the touchscreen to use the teleporters. Sometimes a little faster than using the D-pad.
Yeah, if you guys are wondering what's on the other screen, you're not missing much. It's just a map. So we did, kind of elected that this was fine. We'd give you a bigger gameplay feed. Now we're in the Mines of Judgment, and Rom's quickly going to come up to probably the most dangerous boss in this run, I would say.
I mean, until you're used to him, he honestly is not as hard as some of the others. Like, honestly, Puppet Master, since he does 145 damage in one attack, it does tend to be the most dangerous early on. So, yeah, we're already past the hardest boss in the game, but every boss after, like, Aguni, the fire boss we fought earlier, every boss from there onward can kill you pretty easily if you're not ready.
Big reason why I would make that argument is just this boss that we're going to be coming up to, Death, takes quite a bit of time in order to kill, even at this higher level than at any percent. Just a lot of hits need to get on Death before you can kill him off, and even though he doesn't do the damage that Puppet Master does, it's still quite high.
Yeah, and it's...
there are some safety precautions you can do.
Yeah,
though,
there are
right?
some safety precautions, but you need to be really focused the entire fight. Like, if you let your focus down for a second, he is going to hit you. Because they make this, like, that swipe right there, he can get you in a corner, and then you have to slide under him. Stuff like that can happen. The good luck for first phase is that he gets rid of his scythe, and good luck for second phase is that he keeps it. So I want him to be doing this the rest of the first phase if I can, but there's no way to manipulate it really. It's just whatever he decides to do. So that was a really good first phase because he decided to throw away his scythe for a while. This attack is really hard to dodge until you're used to it. Like, it spawns 3 scythes around you, and it has that one going around the screen, so you have a lot to pay attention to if you're if you're not used to it.
It's a nice trick for dodging this with Alucard.
Yeah, casually you can use Bat or actually run under him and go to the center of the screen, but that's a little slower for getting back into attack position.
And you can see, like, this is a pretty long boss fight. Even given all of the double hits that Rom was getting on Blue Splash, it's
Ooh,
still
nice hit.
Considerable amount of attacks to finish off Death.
Oh yeah, he hadn't done a teleport yet, but that's how you deal with teleports. Hellfire cancel. He like tried to spawn all 3 of those on me.
Nice fight. So we're closing in near the end game. We have 2 more bosses to overcome.
Yeah, this is the final area of the game.
We've got a couple of traversal rooms, Darkman, if you wanted to plug any of the charity or our sponsors.
Sure. We don't have any donations currently. However, just kind of listing off some of the things you could donate towards if you do want to donate. We have the upcoming Watch the Triple King Dance and Shovel Knight incentive. That's at $105 out of 800 raised. Or if you wanted to have a say in Plague Knight's armor color, so that's a bid war. Green's in first place with $30, blue is in second with $25, and purple's at $20. So those are pretty close. And how about a hat in time if you want to equip sunglasses? I love sunglasses, so you should do that. That's at $124 out of 300 raised. So some options if you choose to donate. And thank you for watching.
Small speed up here is that through the quicksand sections, I am going to backdash. It does save, you know, like frames basically over walking, but it does help. Also, another thing is that you do not want to kill much of anything. You damage boost as much as possible, which sometimes, depending on your RNG with like those flea men in the first room or that Stolas up there, like that can leave you with very little health at this part, and it can be scary sometimes.
Yeah, damage is a consideration as you move through here, especially if you get like a bad hit or something.
Yeah, this area kills many any percent runs as a result of, just damage boosting to save a little bit of time, and then here I would be dead already in 80% if I'd gotten hit this many times.
I have an important update, Rom.
Okay.
We have a $25 donation from Mr. Cab who says, "Sup, Rom?"
Hey, Mr. Cab. How's the Mega Man going?
Mr. Cab?
The Mr. Cab.
The Mr. Cab. I asked him how the Mega Man's going just in hopes he donates again to answer that. So
Hopefully.
you better.
Hopefully.
So we're going to be coming up on Abaddon here. Very, very odd boss, which is kind of... Okay. I guess I'll cover this. So Abaddon has a couple of attacks he can do. He can hop at you, or he can draw lines with his cane. Whatever lines he draws with his cane is going to indicate how these locusts come out and attack. I mentioned the jump, and you're like, he jumps at you. What does that mean? It's actually kind of funny, because if he corners you like he just tried to ROM, it's actually kind of easy to get trapped in the corner and take a hit. A couple of these patterns he's giving ROM are a little bit rough to avoid damage on.
Yeah, I'm just going to look at the monitor for the rest of this and try and play it a little slower. But, yeah, I dodge half the attacks with... Oh, God. I dodge half the attacks with Alucard's sword special because it damages him during that. And you want to get damage going as much as possible, even when you're dodging.
Yeah, that is a fight you do not want to drag on. So we're quickly coming up to the final stretch of the game for the final boss. Normally inside of the game, you'd be fighting Menace. However, he is replaced by a very different enemy at the end of Julius mode. We're going to be coming up on that right now. It's going to be in the next room. Final boss of the castle.
If you're playing a ROM hack, you're correct.
Good old Meadow Golem. I'm just kidding. Final boss of the castle is a giant slug.
Yeah, the snail, of course.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I'm just lying. We'll see it. We'll see it when it happens.
The slime. That's Spike, actually. That Spike is the true final boss.
Can we get a ROM hack where the slimes are literally just Dragon Quest slimes?
Woo.
Is that a possibility?
They are powerful. Yeah, so Julius mode is based on if you get either of the bad endings in this game with Soma. Soma decides he's now evil and is going to become Dracula. So I guess the backstory to it is that Julius killed Dracula a long time ago, and now he needs a replacement. So Soma decided he was going to audition. We'll see how he does here. I did take damage there from that Gaibon on purpose because I actually get more slashes than if I dodged with a special.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he's lasting already longer than the original Dracula against Alucard.
That's true.
Quite a few different attacks that this second form can do. The one we're not hoping for is Locust, which it looks
that
like
one?
he's going to do.
Yeah.
It's very important when he does the jumping larva attack to pay attention to the Harpy's attack as well. Luckily, when you go under him at a certain way, the Harpy gets kind of taken out of the equation, but it's important to pay attention to it as well.
And you can see when I have enough MP for it and he jumps over me, I do an Alucard sword special, and that's the same type of manipulation I did to Zephyr, and it makes him just like get confused about my location and have to relocate me. So you get free slashes in that way.
Should be coming up on time very soon here, if you want to get ready. Just trying to grind out that last little bit. There
Done.
it is, time.
All right, cool.
Not bad.
Well, Puppet Master got the true victory here, but that was fun. Like, this mode's always fun to play, so I enjoy it. Thank you for letting me do this, and thanks everyone who's donated to Calithon so far. And I think we have Richter coming up for Soten, so Kai should be doing that, and that was a really fun run to watch, so make sure you stick around.
And real quick, we had a $10 donation from PC Tracks who said, Dawn of Sorrow is my favorite DSvania game. Awesome MC ROM running it. Also, greetings to Turbo Mecha.